September's disappointing U.S. jobs report is further proof of the pandemic's grip on the economy. The Labor Department today reported U.S. employers added just 194,000 jobs last month. That's the fewest since December. Even so, the unemployment rate dropped sharply to 4.8%, down from 5.2% in August. We'll have more on all this after the news summary. The average daily number of COVID-19 cases in the U.S. has dipped below 100,000 for the first time since early August. Meanwhile, COVID vaccinations have hit a 3-month high, nearly 1 million per day, due in part to employers requiring them. In Afghanistan, a suicide bombing at a Shiite Muslim mosque in the northern city of Kunduz killed at least 46 people and wounded dozens more. The Islamic State claimed responsibility. Shattered glass and debris were strewn across the mosque floor as people worked to cover victims and remove bodies.
It was around 1:40 p.m. All the Muslims had gathered in the mosque for Friday prayers, and then I heard the explosion. I was nearby, and what I saw was just like the end of the world. Why is this happening to Muslims?
The Islamic State has been behind a spike in recent attacks since U.S. and NATO forces left Afghanistan in August. Nearly 140 countries have agreed to set a global minimum tax rate of 15% on big multinational companies. The tentative deal would prevent companies like Facebook and Google from profiting in low-tax countries. President Biden welcomed the agreement and said that it will, quote, even the playing field for American workers. President Biden has rejected former President Trump's request to withhold White House records from a congressional probe into the January 6th Capitol attack. That paves the way for the National Archives to release the documents to the House January 6th committee. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump's former aide, Steve Bannon, said that he will defy a subpoena from the House committee. President Biden restored to protected status 3 national monuments cut by former President Trump. They include Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante in Utah, and the Northeast Canyons and Seamounts National Monument off the New England coast. Mr. Trump had opened up some of those areas to mining and development. President Biden formally reversed that decision during a White House ceremony.
National Monument and parks are part of the identity as our identity as a people. There are more than natural wonders. They're the birthright we pass from generation to generation, a birthright of every American.
Some of the lands in Utah are considered sacred to Native American tribes. Today's move also prevents commercial fishing at the Marine Conservation Area off the coast of New England. There is word that President Biden will raise the cap on refugees to 125,000 for fiscal year 2022. That nearly doubles what it was for the previous fiscal year. The increase will follow through on a campaign promise he made to take in more refugees after the cap fell to a historic low under his predecessor. 2 wealthy parents accused of buying their children's way into elite universities were found guilty today by a federal jury in Boston. It is the first case to go to trial in the college admissions scandal that erupted over 2 years ago. 57 people have been charged in the scheme. Federal prosecutors have decided not to pursue charges against the white Wisconsin police officer who shot Jacob Blake, a black man, last year. They said there is not enough evidence to prove that the officer used excessive force or violated Blake's civil rights. Blake is now paralyzed from the waist down. In Nigeria, security forces have rescued 187 people in one of the country's largest hostage liberations. The victims were abducted by armed bandits in the northwestern state of Zamfara. The hostages, including children and babies, were held captive in a remote forest for weeks. Police officials said no ransom money was paid. And September's weak jobs report pushed stocks lower on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 8 points to close at 34,746. The Nasdaq fell 74 points, and the S&P 500 slipped 8. Still to come on the NewsHour, the Nobel Peace Prize is awarded to journalists from Russia and the Philippines. Former White House Russia expert Fiona Hill explains what she calls Donald Trump's dangerous flaw. Choreographer and activist Bill T. Jones returns to the stage in his largest work yet, plus much more.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.